Yes, and welcome to In the Tank Live with Aaron Hairston and Keith Deyo. Today's broadcast is coming to you from the shores or the banks of the mighty Mississippi. And we are also in the background there. Let's see if those people move a little bit. We have the steamer Natchez. So it's the oldest and only steamboat left on the Mississippi River currently. And it's all the way up here in New Orleans. And so it is hot. I mean, it is hot and humid down here, man. It's Africa hot. I mean, Tarzan couldn't take this hot. That's my one of my favorite lines from the movie Biloxi Blues, if you ever saw it. But this is something where you got to experience New Orleans. I experienced a little bit of New Orleans last night, so I'm moving kind of slow today, if you know what I mean. But all in all, I'm feeling great. It's Freedom Friday, and one of the things that we're going to talk to you today about is great questions, the questions that set you free. So as you jump on the broadcast, if you have a question that literally set you free, blew your mind, had you answering something that you for the rest of your life could never go back to thinking the other way because of that one question, go ahead and drop that in the comments. How's it going, Gina, my boy Nick, Amanda, everybody out there on this Freedom Friday? Hopefully we give you a better look at the that steamboat back there. It's pretty cool. It was just playing loud music, so I'm glad they just stopped before they take off. It's getting a little bit windy, but like I said, we're coming to you from the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, and we're talking about questions that set you free. And for me, it was the one day somebody asked me, what if you didn't know what you thought you knew? When would you want to know? That was huge for me. And the reason why it was so big is because, one, I never heard that question before. And two, the answer of what it was I didn't know from the person I thought wouldn't have told me that in a million years. It was a stranger, but quickly became a friend and then introduced me to something that absolutely changed my life and has now changed the lives of tens of thousands of people all over the world. So it's incredible when you have that one person come into your life, whether you know them or not, or you yourself asks you a question and it totally, you do a 180. Sometimes you do a 360. My answer to that question, if you didn't know what you thought you knew, when would you want to know? For me, was yesterday. I said yesterday. And they began to show me something that allowed my entire life to unfold, that completely set me free, and at the same time added pressure, unknown pressure, but pressure that in a good way. And as I allowed that pressure to steer me in different directions, and I realized it was not an obstacle, it was an invitation to my future, I changed completely. And in a way that for some it was scary, for most it was rewarding. And Nick comes out here, he says, if I were to die tomorrow, how did I live my life? Did I leave it all on the table? And Nick, is that something where you've completely answered that question, where you know that your song has been sung? And if you were to die tomorrow, would you be doing the thing that, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, would you be doing the thing you're doing right now? I think that's a huge question too, because a lot of people, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So a lot of people don't think that way, and some people can say that's cynical, but that's the truth. It isn't guaranteed. So if you were to die tomorrow, would you be doing what you're doing right now today? And would you be doing it in the capacity you're doing it? So, I mean, for some of you, that question's too deep. But for a lot of you, that's going to make you think. And so if you were to do that, and there was certain things that you definitely couldn't change, where, you know, distance, if distance was an issue as far as being with loved ones or getting to a certain place or spending more time somewhere, if that was an issue, because there was only a certain moments that you can be in, well, how would you feel? Think about that. How would you feel? What state would you be in? And I'm not talking about a state as in Connecticut, Louisiana. I'm talking about state, personal state. How would you feel? And if you could feel a certain way, what would that be? And if you could do that, well, then everything else wouldn't matter quite as much as you think it would. And so that's a great question, Nick. Thanks for that. And Aaron's ready to jump on the broadcast. Let's go. Approve. Add. Let's see if this works. as we get a beautiful view of the steamer Natchez. So again, we're talking about questions that set you free, questions that you were asked that totally if you flipped you on your head. Aaron, what is good in the backyard?
What up, man? Oh man, everything is
Yes,
super fantastic, man. Everything is all the way up. Let's go.
I love it, man. So we're coming to you from the banks of the mighty Mississippi down here in
Ah,
New
sweet.
Orleans. We got a barge coming in.
Knowledge.
We got the steamboat. Yeah, Nolans, Nola. So
Give
what
me some
what
of that
is
jambalaya, man. Some of that gumbo, that shrimp
yeah.
gumbo.
Mm. I had jambalaya is the one thing I got. Jambalaya and beignets left on my list. I had everything else. I had the gumbo. I had the shrimp and grits. Um, they do make some good Bloody Marys down here. I haven't had one of those yet. I had a couple cold
Ooh.
ones last night, so I was moving kind of slow today. But I got my superfoods in. I found a fresh juice place. Got my liquid
Nice.
gold. Got my turmeric, lemon, ginger. Got a little shot of that.
There we go.
Had some cold brew. The cold brew down here is awesome. They put chicory in it. And
Huh.
chicory's a root. Tastes really good. So Nick says yes and no because there are a bunch of more experiences I want to capture. Yeah, but Nick, you may not be able to capture it if you're going to die tomorrow. But if you think about how you want to feel in the state you want to be in while you're here in the time you do have left, well then that is really the thing that you can control the most. So Aaron, we're talking about questions that set you free on this Freedom Friday. The question that totally lit up your world. You could never turn back. You couldn't unknow what you know. And I said earlier that mine was, what if you didn't know what you thought you knew? When would you want to know? What's your question? What's been a couple questions that's really set you free or have allowed you to set others free?
Well, the one big one, right, is what am I proud of accomplishing?
Mm,
Right?
I
What
like that.
for the last 12 hours of today, okay? What am I proud of accomplishing at this moment? Because here's the thing. We don't know when the Lord's going to call us. We don't know. We will never know. When our time is called, we will be called. And so it's not about I have plenty of time left. It's about living every moment. And am I proud of what I've accomplished over the last hour? Is it something that I'm proud about? Is it something that I did 100%? See, that's when it really changed for me, Keith, is when I started recognizing and taking full accountability for every single second of my life. I
Yes.
no longer give my time away, right? I no longer give my time away. I spend my time.
Yes.
I spend every single second doing exactly what I want to do. Now, here's the thing. What you want to do and what you're called to do or what you've been asked to do or what you've been voted to do are all different things. But when it comes down to it, you must want to show up every single day, every single second of your life like it's your last. You have to, right? You have to, because if you don't do that and you're called early, why would you want to live with the regret? Because you took advantage, right, of the unknown. You took advantage of the unknown and said, you know what? I have plenty of time. I'll get to it when I get to it. And that is not a great way to live because, again, you don't know when you're going to be called. And so, therefore, are you living your ideal life? And what that has to start with is the belief in yourself. You know, what are you doing every single day to create more and more joy in your life? And joy can come from the moments that you spend, the presence of having good conversation, being there in the moment, don't being so not such in a rush to get to the next thing. You know, these are the very things that we must recognize on our journey in life because that's the beauty of it. You know, if we take every single chance that we have and we take advantage of it or we take it for granted, it may be our last hour. It may be our last minute. And that may be morbid for some people to think about. But you know what? I can't wait for the Lord to call me because that means that now my job here is done. And
Mm-hmm.
so the key is do I figure out every day what it is that I have to do today? What am I being called to do today? And am I showing up 100%? So that's one of the game-changing moments for me, Keith. And I start every day off with prayer, and I'm thankful that I wake up, and then I ask, Lord, what is it today that you call me to do? And it may be something that may be challenging. It may be something that may come with some obstacles, and I'm willing and I'm open to receive whatever else that comes along with that because I am here and I am ready. That's the key
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
definitely the key, Aaron. And you said something about you spend your time, and I know what you meant, but I would classify that in a sense where I don't think you're a spender. You invest your time. I think because you look for the moments that matter and to add maximum value to the moment, and you're an investor, and that may be something. Is that accurate?
Well, the way that I would translate that for what that means to me would I'm investing for my children.
Yeah.
I'm not investing for any ROI for me
Right.
at this moment, right? I'm investing for my legacy, for my children to be able to eat off of. So if you look at it that way, I'm spending or I'm investing my time to build a legacy for my children to say, you know what, my daddy left me this.
Yeah.
Because that's my responsibility right now is to make sure that whatever I give to my children is intentional. It's not because I had insurance. It's not because it's something that came with what it was that I did. It's every single second of my day I'm building for my generations to come, you know, my children and my children's children. So yeah, that would be a great way to look at it is I invest my time and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, and you're very intentional without creating stress. Whereas if you're gonna be doing something or you're gonna make a choice, it's intentional. You stay in that alignment, so you have a certain level of intent that you perform everything with. Even if you're sitting down, and even if you're having dinner, even if those thoughts that stay in your head, you're intentional and responsible, so that you can be aware and have that depth of awareness. So then it does become an investment rather than an expense or spending of time. And so who asked the question here? Amanda said that if you could do anything in life and you had no limits, what would you do? And she said that got her started thinking about, how do I really want to live my life? And so I've been asked that question as well, and I tend to ask people that too. I said, if money and time were of no issue, what would you do? Where would you do it? And who would you do it with? And for how long? And most people don't have that answer for you. They never even thought
Mm-hmm.
about that.
I know.
But they're all working towards retirement or a time where they can have that, but they have no idea what that's going to look like. And they kind of have an idea of when that's going to happen if they're good with numbers, and it's always a financial thing rather than a choice. It's more of when I'm done, or I'm at a certain point, or I put in a certain amount of time. But that 40-40-40 plan, that's gone. Work 40 years, 40 hours a week to get 40 hours of life in retirement, that's gone. And so Les Brown talks about that all the time. So if you were to create true freedom, create it where you are now. Create it in that place, in that environment. And then if that environment doesn't exist, make it. And you can be free wherever you are. You can be free with a
It's
shift
true.
in state. And that very thing can free you. But it's going to probably start with a couple great questions that you had for yourself or you have for others around you. And then you start to create that depth, that awareness, and you gain clarity. And then do the little things. Do the little things, and those things will add up into the big things, and then you will experience that true freedom wherever you are. And financial freedom is different for everybody. Everyone's number is different. Physical freedom is different for everybody. Looks different for everybody. And in the act of becoming free is just as important as the actual day that you are free. And so many people take it and they go, well, I can't have that, or that's too big, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. And so they don't do anything. They keep the parking brake on, and that's a trap. And that's not a
Yeah.
path to freedom. And so, Aaron, you've had times where it seemed like it would never happen, or it seemed like it was such a big task, and you chunked it down and did one play at a time, right? I mean, you've had tons of moments like that.
Oh yeah. Tons. And that's what I seek, Keith. You know, I seek that limit because I know that that's going to be my capacity and what I know now to be true. And
Yeah.
I'm seeking for what I don't know yet, right? And I'm constantly doing that. And you know, to go back to what we were talking about in regards to living each day in fullness, I think it's important to remember that you must find what you enjoy doing. And a lot of people do a function or make money, make a living doing what they don't like.
Right.
And they're waiting for something to change that versus actually changing them themselves. And that that's where you have to invest the most of your time. Like, so you may be at a job that you must be at for 9 hours out of the day, right? So you may be in that position. Do that. Do it to your fullest. But then in your second 9 hours or your second 8 hours, right? Do what it is that's going to grow with you. See, Keith, we found a profession, right? That the
Yes.
more work we do, the more opportunity to expand and grow. See, in a lot of professions, there's not that opportunity. Like, you can work as hard as you possibly can,
Yeah, you're not
but
going.
that job and that task is capped at a certain
Yep.
amount of money or a certain amount of success or a certain amount of freedom. Like, for me, freedom is making residual income, right? That's true freedom. Once I realized what that means, like residual income, like Michael Jackson money, like Elvis Presley money, like, these type of individuals that had put a lot of work into what it was that they were passionate about in music is now still being paid every single time the music gets played. So when you're playing your song in life, every time your song gets played, are you being paid? And so now you must look at, okay, make sure that you're playing your song in the right environment. Make sure that you're showing everybody what a great song your song is. Don't just take for granted, and say, okay, well, one day I'll get an opportunity to sing my song. No, you have
No.
an opportunity once you woke up this morning. You can choose not to say anything and not sing at all and never play your song and then wonder why you're not getting paid for your song. See, we are what we talked about before, Keith, right? We are a song. Each and every one of
A
us,
verse,
right,
right, of a
is
song
a
being
verse
sung.
in, in,
Yeah.
in a song, right, being sung. And so that's the one thing that I can encourage everybody to do is find a way that in your second 8 hours of your life, every single day, if you're given it, to work on something that's going to pay you to the extent that you grow as an individual. That's going to be the key. Because if you can't give value and show value and sing your song and enlighten the ears that hear it every single day, then you know what? Your song will die with you and nobody else will be able to live with it. And you'll look back at that day and say, dang it, you know what? I never invested on getting my song out there to the world. And so we found it. We found a vehicle that allows us, right, to earn to the extent that we grow. The more value we provide, right, the more value we receive. That's how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how the world runs now. We can do anything we want to do, guys. That is so true. And we've heard it since we were little kids. Our parents told us it. The difference between then and now, if you're in the 40s like we are, is now the capacity of you growing can happen at 21, right? At 18, you have the capacity to learn to grow entrepreneurship, to be paid for your song, to be paid for what it is that drives you and that you're passionate about. And so on this Freedom Friday, I want to encourage everybody to dig deep and listen to their own song and be encouraged to go out there and share it with the world so that you can receive value for the rest of your life residually because of the body of work that you're putting into your song and making sure it gets better and better and better and better and brings the change that it's been called to bring. That's the key, Keith. Because if you continue to do time for money thing, eventually your time will run out. And at that point, what have you built? What have you provided? And what have you created in your legacy? And what song have you been singing?
No, 100%, Aaron. And Jim Rohn says it. He said that you go to work full time for the present and start working part time on your future. And so your full time job is the one that pays the bills. And the part time thing that you're doing on the side, which you can create oftentimes more income than you are on your full time thing, that's where you start to create that freedom. And you make those deposits, make those investments, and then find ways for those investments to compound. And then, like you said, Aaron, how many times will your story be told? And when it's told, are you getting paid? And that's the key, is how many times will your story be told? How many lives will be changed in the process? And are you committed to making sure that that story is told over and over and over and over again as you rediscover the truth every single day? And as Hillary Courtney jumps on here, she was the one that,
Hey!
yeah, she had a really profound impact on my life the day that she handed out those mustard seeds on our chair,
Woo! Yes,
right?
I still got them on my board.
I
Oh,
got
yeah.
mine right on my desk. So Hillary, thank you for that. The faith of a mustard seed can
Yes.
move mountains. I'll never forget that. And I hadn't even thought about that statement for so long, and I never thought about it that deep. And then she went on stage and explained the
Crushed it.
oh
I
my
was in tears,
goodness,
bro.
her and
It
yeah,
opened
and
up a whole can of worms.
yeah, Hillary and Justin, that's servant leadership right there, and they stay in that space, and they've put the work in, and they definitely come from a place of love and gratitude every single day. So they're out there modeling, being in service to others. No distance is too far to help even one person. So they're out there doing it. Thank you for showing up on the tank. And Aaron, do you have any
Hey,
last
Keith,
words?
oh yeah, absolutely. I had a thought just come into my mind because
Awesome.
I want to encourage everybody to know, okay? I want to encourage everybody to know that it's not easy changing your life. It's not easy, getting your song out there or even practicing on your song. It's not easy, guys. We know this, but it's so worth it. You're worth it, right? Out of the 200 million sperm, right, chasing and racing to that egg,
Yeah.
right? You won. You were the fastest one. You won. You are a winner. Your song deserves to be heard across the world. Don't settle for a paycheck, guys. Money always follows value, man. Money is a measurement of value, right? And your job and whatever you're doing, do it to the fullest because you know what? That's what you've been called to do right now. And until you change it, that will be the only thing. And I know that every one of us has something special, and it's hard work, guys. It's hard work, but it's simple. It's simple, and it takes caring with the intensity of the of making it happen and wanting to make it happen for the one that you see in the mirror. That's the key, guys. That's what drives me every single day because you know what? There's two little eyes, four little eyes actually watching me every single day. Right? When I wake up on that bed, they're like, "Okay, Daddy, what are we doing today?" And I want to be there. I want to be there every second, showing up and encouraging them to sing their song. And you're going to be called to do a lot of things in this world because you know what? This world needs people to do work, right? This world needs people to do work. That's what keeps this thing running. But also the world needs you to be you because that's what the generations need to see. They need to believe that they can be because that's going to be the value you leave, the legacy you leave. All right. And it's hard work, guys. Again, I'll say it again. It's hard work. It's not easy being a professional version of you. It's not. It's so much easier to be a professional, everything else but you. It's so much easier. We can mask it. We can't lie about it, right? To ourselves, it's hard. But you know what? It's so worth it.
It's worth
and when
it.
you see that person in the mirror and you love that person in the mirror and you say, you know what? I'm a winner and I can, like our good friend Albie says, and we say, I will and I must, like our good man, Eric Thomas. These words have been inspired by people that have found that vision for themselves in the mirror. They said, you know what? I'm worth it no matter what happens right now. No matter what happens right now, I'm worth it. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to work towards it. And I'm going to be my best. And I'm going to show up. And I'm going to leave something here on this earth. Because you know what? Only I could have made that happen. And I'm not going to take that for granted.
Woo, free to be me. Take us out.
Let's go, baby. So all those who chimed in here today on this Freedom Friday, thank you all for really listening in and sharing this message, guys. We love you all. You encourage us. We hope we encourage you. And for the hundreds of thousands out there that will hear this on replay, continue to feed that fuel to you guys. You guys make it happen. You're awesome. You're amazing. Have a fantastic weekend. Let's crush it, guys. God bless y'all.
Peace.